Seit ich angefangen habe, hier Teil der Konferenz zu sein, habe ich mich auf einen Gast gefreut. Und ich wusste irgendwann, wenn ich lange genug frage, dann kommt sie vielleicht. Heute ist sie da, Linda Loppa. Linda war quasi für mich das, was ich eigentlich erreichen wollte. One of the most recognized figures in the international fashion system. You graduated in 1971 at the Royal Academy of Art in Antwerp, worked as a fashion designer then, opened your own store, boutique, fashion boutique, high-end fashion boutique in 1978. In 1981, you began teaching at the Royal Academy and established Antwerp as one of the notable locations for fashion design. Linda Loppa was at the helm of the fashion department at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts for 25 years. You founded the Flanders Fashion Institute and the MoMU in Belgium. In 2007, you became the Dean of Polimoda International Institute of Fashion Design and Marketing in Florence. Since 2016, you became Polimoda's advisor of the new strategy and vision platform based in Paris and launched Linda Loppa Factory, a studio promoting art, culture, and education. It is my biggest honor to have you here. Linda, after what I have told, and Linda did everything the same time. So you didn't finish your boutique and then started teaching at the Royal Academy. No, it was all more or less overlapping.
Layered.
So with this vita, was fashion your love at first sight?
Not really, no. I did the Academy of Fine Arts. I loved art. I wanted to be an architect. And I was always hands-on. I mean, my father and my grandfather were tailors, so I thought, never. But then I saw a fashion show, there was a lot of dynamics, people were joyful. I lived also the '68 movement, there was activity, and the other departments were a bit stagnant, so I chose for fashion.
What do you think? What is more important for fashion design or for design, present or future?
Definitely present. I'm absolutely fascinated what is happening today. Every day for me is a new day, a new moment, a new experience, and I'm not looking back. I think the past is old. We have to forget everything from the past. And it's so stimulating today. I enjoy it every moment. I'm writing, I'm looking, I'm thinking, I'm talking to people. This is the best moment that we can live.
Then, is our fashion system still up front?
Well, I think the fashion system is up front. Are we up front? Are we following? Maybe we have to be more positive and be more dynamic as well and invent new systems. For me, fashion is a vortex. It's a dynamic circle of things that are in our brain, you know. And how can we not be happy today? It's really fascinating. And thanks to all the new changes in the way we communicate, fantastic, we are more informed than ever. So why are we not more upfront?
The world that we are living in is changing constantly, as you just said.
Yes.
A world that is constantly changing, that is becoming faster and faster, creates an uncertain environment as well. We feel destabilization in so many fields. One could imagine that this is a culture medium, is the perfect ground of creativity, for creativity. You would agree?
Well, on one hand, we have the virtual, and on the other hand, we have the human. We want to humanize again. We want to touch the fabric. We want to embrace, you know. So I think creativity is also the desire, creating emotions. And that's why I like the day of today. We still need that. It's not only the virtual world we live in. So we need to touch each other and see fashion shows and wow, look at a wonderful show that gives us the energy. So creativity is more important than ever.
We are in Berlin. We have Fashion Week here in Berlin, and as I say all the time, Berlin is not the epicenter of fashion. but we will one time. Antwerp was, when you started, was not the epicenter of fashion. Was this requirement somehow of the success that you were kind of in a bubble and had your freedom? And is this still possible? Because we're so connected, as you said. So this bubble feeling...
It is still possible, but you have to create a mystery. In the beginning it was Antwerp, you know. I had my shop, I signed Antwerp. They didn't know where it was, Belgium. So you have to create a mystery. It was a kind of little town in the north, rainy, cold, underground. And that gave us the freedom to do what we wanted to do. Now everything comes established. We have a fashion week, and then the expectations are so high. And I think we were lucky to never organize a fashion week in Antwerp, because we have so many fashion weeks already. We took the train to Paris with all the luggage, the garments in it. And we were the outsiders there. We found new locations and we created that curiosity. And I think that's the best you can do. And it's still possible. Yes, I believe it's possible. And I think it's really important not to establish too fast as we have this fashion movement. And keep it as a mystery and make it more a cultural event than a fashion event.
So I do it like the Antwerp Six and rent a truck and drive to Paris and show there.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
That's what they did in the 80s for London Fashion Week, by
yes.
the way. And do you think that fashion weeks are still relevant then? I mean, is it relevant that we have this wonderful shows that we are able to see, that we go to Paris, to Milan, to New York, to London?
Well, is art relevant? Is food relevant? Is this conversation relevant? Yes, of course. Yes, we need to be dressed. We need to be also put in value. I think for the moment, fashion is a bit downgrading our bodies and our tastes. You know, it's like ugliness is beautiful and you can't say that something is beautiful because we are in a very different downgrading movement, and that's not good. Fashion should be fun and beautiful, and the word beautiful and beauty is hardly used. But that's temporarily. I don't think this is a kind of important. Has great importance. Is fashion relevant? Yes, of course. It gives a lot of economy. It's business-wise interesting. And when you're in a fashion show, you're sitting with all those people you know. It's a big family. It would be lonely without fashion, you know, because we have so many friends in the business. And if you find the right tune to communicate, it's really fantastic. You have sometimes the hate and love situation, of course. When you invited me 4 times, I said, no, I'm not in the mood to talk about fashion, you know. I was really, no, stop. Now I'm again very positive. I love it, and I like to share these emotions with many people.
You talked about beauty. Is there, with all these pictures that we see constantly, every day, is there a new need of beauty? Because we see also so many horrible things happening in the world. So is there a new need of beauty? And does beauty need ugliness to be still beautiful?
Difficult question. For me, I'm not really I'm an aesthetic, you know. I like beautiful things, the ugliness can be beautiful when it's nicely made, when there is a kind of really interesting composition, when the silhouette is interesting. If you look at the Rick Owens silhouette, is it beautiful? It's interesting. It lets you think about the body, the lightness of the heaviness of the body. So if that is relevant and if that is beauty, I can go for ugliness. I don't like to go in ugliness when it's becoming a collage, a repetition of what I saw. if streetwear is becoming the new whatever wear, and it doesn't has a meaning then for me. And ugliness can be also in art. You can look at a work that you don't really like. I was in Venice in the Biennale when I saw the work of Damien Hirst. I don't like it. It's not my aesthetics. It makes me curious. Well, okay, I still don't like it. But anyway, it gives you a kind of confrontation maybe to look at what I really like. And what I like is a beautiful garment, nicely made, nicely tailored.
Is it only my impression, or is radicalism on the runway almost disappeared entirely today? I mean, Rick Owens is a great example that is still there. Rai Kawakubo for Comme des Garçons, yes, as well. Fashion seemed, as you said, seems strongly related to streetwear, and everything seems as a quotation of something, as you call it, a fast collage of ideas that are remodeled without inspiration. What is missing? What is, and why is it missing?
Well, I think the fastness is very stimulating, and so we can use our instinct. I think we forgot to use that. So there is instinct and intuition that we should use more. Now it's like, what do we have to do? Like you really set all the collaborations and all that we don't really need. It's an overexposure. So let's go back to the conversation, to looking at beautiful slowing down. And the slowness in a world that is very fast, like it is today, which I like enormously, the slowness is also important. So you have to find a balance between the two.
I saw a picture that you posted on Instagram, and you said, and it showed a runway and all of us sitting with our cell phones. And our cell phone are our eyes. That's what your quote was. Does it change how we evaluate what we see, not only on the runway?
Yes, it might be. It might be, because I myself, I'm using my. Then I say stop it. I put my iPhone, because I want to enjoy the moment. You know, I want to look at the models. I want to hear the music. I want to experience. But it's true. I also take my iPhone, and some designers stopped doing shows because of that. Demna said, basta, I don't like the way people look at my garments through that thing. And he's right.
Because you put everything, yes, in a frame, yes, and you, yes, don't see the, yes, environment, yes, why we see, yes, fashion. I mean,
by the way, later you can see it on all the Instagram and the other apps that are showing you the garment really well. But being there and see it in 3 dimensions, and especially the sound, I'm missing the sound. Heide Ackermann, his sound.
Wonderful.
Oh, you start crying. So that is what I miss by Instagram.
I start crying every Saturday morning during Fashion Week, because at 10 o'clock it's Heide Ackermann. Yeah. And we all sit there like in a, yeah, church, and then his music starts.
Music.
Yeah.
So you know, that's why we go there. And that's, you can't share on Instagram.
Creating the world,
yes,
as well,
creating,
around fashion.
Yeah, that's beautiful. The beautiful moments that you share with people.
What do young students and designers need to be well prepared for the system?
A difficult question. For me, it's authenticity. I think they are too much informed, and they forget their own identity, what they want. You know, it's me and not what people impose. It's not easy because we are overwhelmed by information, but still, the white page is so beautiful. You can design something. You can go from nothing to the beautiful garment draped on a doll. I think also the Socrates methodology is nice. You know, Socrates was a wise man, and he made nice conversations, asked questions. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why? The why and looking for answers is interesting in this moment that is full of maybe questions, but The answers are maybe very simple in making a nice garment and find a way to bring it to the world. With all the methodology we have for the moment, it's easier than 50 years ago, 60, 40, 30, 20 years ago. It should be easier, but it seems more difficult. So what is missing is, I think, a good conversation and sitting down and see, why are you in fashion, my dear? What are your expectations? What are you really, what do you want to express? It's not my grandmother's dress. I mean, forget that dress. It's not about research in the past. It's about now. What do you want really now? Why are you here in front of me? And if we can't find those questions, maybe we will have better designers prepared for the system.
Did you ever, your judgment ever was wrong, that you had somebody in front of you where you had the feeling, no, he, she will not make it, and then after...
Yes, it happened. Not often, but it happened. Yes, it happened. But it
means, is education, I mean, can education change?
Of course. Don't forget that we have people from 18 till 22 years old, and they're in an amazing moment of change in their lives. Sexually, taste, going away from home, and everything is in movement and changes there. So we have a big responsibility as a teacher, enormously big responsibility. And for the moment, fashion schools and fashion departments are too big, because the fashion schools are becoming businesses. So we have too many students in the classroom. We should have less and have a deeper confrontation and a deeper... I was privileged because sometimes I had 15 students in the last year, or in the first year. I did all the years, and teaching. I still have friends. They're here in the room. We had beautiful conversations, and that's probably missing today because we are too many.
That's my feeling as well. Yes. We have more than 40 fashion schools in Germany. We have more than 1,000 people.
It's too many. Yeah.
It's too many.
Yeah.
And
of course, consumerism is also growing. So in 2050 we will have the double of consumers all over the world. So we need people who can go in the business and have retail management and did a good marketing course and are really precise in. So fashion schools are very good also in the business side of fashion for the moment. In the design, we are too many. But how can we reduce? Maybe we can learn them other skills. And so there is a very strong discussion to be done, and a discussion that I would like to do with the industry, to do together with the entrepreneurs, with the people sitting here in front, because we are a bit isolated. Education is isolated. We feel not really, although we do common projects, we do applied projects, the industry comes to the cause, but I think we should work better together.
It seems a bit that the so-called, I called it, winner of the fashion game, means who is successful, who is not successful, are often great self-promoters. Designers, even young designers, who are able to promote themselves. Do you think, is that what designers have to have as a skill as well, that they are self-promoters and not this designer that loves to be in the atelier and not going outside giving interviews?
Yeah, I don't see much difference than in the 80s when Dries was also a self-promoter. He designed his garments, he went to the manufacturers, and Dries Van Noten, sorry, he's my friend. So I don't see much difference. He is, of course, a businessman and a designer in the same time. He knows how to balance very well his business. And he has the recognition now to be an independent brand still, which I admire strongly. But I don't think it's so different from what we see today. I think a very shy designer is also charming, but he needs a strong person next to him.
That it would be my next question, because you mentioned Dries, who is able to do both, yes. Who is a great designer and is a really good businessman, yes. As well. But we see so many designers who really are great in their designs, but they are not at all bad businessmen. And you think that designers have to have both? How can they?
Yes, today a designer can't ignore the business. He should or she should know how the system is working, yes, definitely.
Marta Margiela once said, "It remains more important for us that someone finds their own way of dressing as opposed to a way of dressing prescribed by anyone else or an overriding trend." Is this how you look at fashion today?
A difficult question. In a sense, I think the designer is still important. I think if you go to a designer shop and you like, and you put it on and it's you, it's a beautiful moment.
And it can change you as well.
And
when you put
it makes
something
you more
on,
confident. So yes. But I feel more and more people are buying things fast, and then you see them on the street, you say, oh my God, maybe it's not really the exact, no. So there is a kind of losing control in the buying. People are not really so much aware of what their personality should be or is, and putting it on. And maybe it's not matching. So yes, probably Martin is still right. He's always right.
That's what I wanted to say. Wasn't often wrong, huh?
No.
How should fashion be in an idle world? Like Tillman described it, following this 9 points. What do you think? How should I still have the idea that fashion, when I sit there and look at fashion, that it should really touch me, that I nearly have to cry, like in Heide's shows, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah, of course.
That is still my picture of fashion.
Yes, we are very privileged because we can go to the fashion shows. Not always. We have to queue, and we have in the rain and the cold, and luckily it is a Uber, it brings you. But it's a kind of suffering as well. But once you're there and you give the emotion, it's beautiful. But the consumer doesn't have that, so he has the click on the phone. And the experience in the shop, and I think the experience more and more in the shop is becoming again very, very important. I was a retailer for so many years, and I had my clients were my friends. You know, they were telling their stories. It was beautiful. So I think, and I think you can the speakers will confirm it. The shop is a moment where you have a kind of nice feeling with your customers, and you have to treat them well. And if it's not fitting, sorry, you can say it, because it's a confident story between the. And sometimes I feel when I enter a shop that the salespersons are too trained.
Too trained?
Yes.
I sometimes in Germany have the feeling that they are not trained
no,
at all. Sorry.
I'm not going to say names, but sometimes I go in the shop and you have the same story, you know. Hello, and I have also this. They bring me my high heels. No, sorry, I wear not today, but you know they're so trained that it's so much overwhelming and it's not nice. So give the customer and the consumer time to experience a garment. Let it go, let it be, let it be. And if they don't buy, they will buy another time, you know. And maybe they buy on the internet, they send it back and it comes back and later on they buy it. It doesn't matter. And I think indeed the shop experience is important.
Is it true that when you had your shop Loppa,
yes,
it was called Loppa, and you carried designers that I read in an interview you said nobody knew. You just bought it because it was a beautiful dress?
Oh yes, I never made money, by the way. I bought Helmut Lang when nobody knew him. I bought Dolce & Gabbana, the black t-shirt collection in Milano. It was beautiful. It has this authenticity from Sicily. I bought really always in the beginning. So yes, that was a beautiful story, but I never was really successful with my business. Of course, with Jean-Paul Gaultier, Montana, and all those later on, I ended my shop buying with Comme des Garçons. And so I had all the different Italian fashion, French and the Japanese, so it was really nice. I loved the buying. The selling was more difficult.
You said once you can live without fashion, but you can't live without art. Can fashion ever be art?
Yes, sometimes it can. Sometimes it touches that practically artistic expression of creativity, yes. And I think more and more, I think the cultural aspect of fashion should be in the front. It's not only about the business and selling, but it's a cultural phenomenon. So in that sense, let it be art sometimes. Put it on a pedestal and see it sometimes, maybe not in a museum, but also in a beautiful window, and let it be art sometimes. Why not? Yes.
You still have pieces from
where
you think that they could be in a museum?
Yes. By the way, I have my tabby shows in the MoMA for the moment in New York. Yeah.
You still? I can imagine you have old Margiela, right?
I have old Margiela, but I'm slowly giving it to museums. Yes. But some pieces are. Yeah, I miss them. I can't. And then there are other pieces as well, but. I don't know, probably the distance makes it, of course, again, interesting. As I said in the beginning, fashion is a vortex. It's full of new energy, so that archive is good, it's there, but it doesn't give you new ideas for the future. I need to be stimulated by new designers.
But I think these archive pieces, they are like best friends, right?
They are best friends, yeah.
They belong to the family.
I keep them there.
Thank you so much for being here, Linda Loppa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.